Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very, very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a drama from Sweden, Swedish language English subs, released in the year 2000, directed by Roy Andersson, and this film is called Songs from the Second Floor. So Songs from the Second Floor doesn't really follow a traditional storyline. It's basically about human suffering. It's a life of misery for all the characters involved. Very depressing atmosphere. The weight of the world has just got too much for these characters. One guy, his business is burnt to the ground. The other guy has a son who is mentally ill that is tearing him apart. Another guy is married to a woman but has feelings for another person. He knows he can't be with her. And it's basically just the way they suffer and that they've had enough and what they do when they come to that point of breaking. So what happens that point on and what's in store, whether or not these characters can resurrect their life for the good, it's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Songs from the Second Floor. Before I do this review, I have to give credit to my good friend Magnus. He's Vaultkeeper2. His username is now, I believe, Scandinavian Cinema or Scandinavian Film Reviews. He's my best friend here on YouTube for the simple fact that not only is he a great guy, he's very generous, and he also really knows his stuff. So a lot of you guys come to me about films that are unknown, but I go to this guy for films that are unknown. He gives me a lot of recommendations that I can review, and I can say that I'm very happy to see. So if you want to know more about world cinema, in particular Scandinavian cinema, please drop by. I'll leave a link in the description below. Please subscribe to this guy because, as I said, he's my best friend here on YouTube, and he's just a guy that really deserves a lot more credit and popularity than he actually gets. So please do yourself a favour and go and have a look at his channel. So yeah, I have to thank him, because without him I would not have seen Songs from the Second Floor, and that would have been a great tragedy, because I think this movie is absolutely brilliant. I think this is better than Birdman. It's a lot different from Birdman in the fact that the stories are different, but Birdman had a lot of symbolic sort of value to it. It's a lot about the meaning of the film, and a lot of people went on and on about Birdman, and Songs from the Second Floor has gone under the radar. Now, people in Scandinavia or worldwide might know a lot more about the film, but as far as Australians, Americans, you know, the mainstream audiences are concerned, no one ever talks about Songs from the Second Floor, and if it wasn't for my friend, I would have passed up the opportunity. Now, to start off with, this movie is so much more than just about what you see. This is a movie about suffering. You know, we've all been in places where we come to a point in our life when we think it's all too much. You know, we're really depressed, we feel that the world is cruel, that the modern day life is just too much. Now, for me, years ago I had cancer, and I still have major depression as a result of that, along with an anxiety disorder, and I feel constantly that the world is too much, that it's getting on top of me, that I'm getting really worn down, that the weight of the world is just bearing upon me, and I just don't know what to do. You know, I've come to breaking point, and I felt that I was one of the characters in this film, because the director really puts you in the shoes of these characters. And it's an art house film, but usually with art house movies I think they're pretentious, but this movie has no pretension whatsoever. I just have not seen a film that has hit me this hard before. It's a movie that, as I said, you can put yourself in the shoes of these characters if you've gone through hardships yourself. And so for me, the movie is about depression, it's about hardship, it's about how cruel society can be. But on the other hand, a lot of people say it's about purgatory, it's about other themes. And I can see where they're coming from, and that's the beauty of the movie, is that it's very ambiguous, is that it doesn't necessarily mean one thing, it can mean a broad range of things. And for that to happen, you know, it is the sign of a very, very good filmmaker, and I thought this filmmaker, Roy Andersson, has created something so unique that it comes across as boring, but it's not, because you're constantly trying to depict each scene and dissect each scene and see what the symbolic meaning of that is. So you never notice when things aren't happening, because there's always that sort of hidden message. There's always that thick layer that you have to uncover to get what the true film is about. So the way the movie is shot is very, very stylish. Now, stylish without being stylish, if you know what I mean. So the camera is very still all the time, so you actually feel like you're a fly on the wall. And I didn't really notice that, and I thought, hang on, the camera never shakes. And then, you know, there's never any children in the film, so there's a theme there, and I didn't notice that. And then, you know, towards the end of the movie, I thought, hang on, there haven't been any children in the film. There is a scene right at the end that is shocking, and that's what brought up the children's theme. And I thought to myself, wow, this director has put things in the movie that are so subtle that it goes right under your nose. You don't really notice it. And so that warrants a second viewing, because although the movie is so rich in depth, there are things that you're going to miss, so it's going to make you want to go back and watch it again. And if you want to go and watch a movie again, it shows you how good it is. And I couldn't believe it. It's such a depressing film. It feels like a movie set in the Truman Show, you know, that sort of world, or another Norwegian film called The Bothersome Man. Feels like it's set in a different dimension where it's a symbolic world, in that no one in this film is happy. You never hear anybody laugh. You never ever see anyone smile. It's about the misery. It actually feels like it's the depression bubble, in that you're trapped, that the city symbolised depression for me. And that if you want to get out of it, that was the road to recovery. So, as I said, it's what you see on the screen is not exactly what the film is. It's, as I said, it's all symbolic, so it has a deeper meaning. So it's much more than face value. So it's very... the content of the film is just absolutely fascinating. So the acting was absolutely incredible. I thought the actors, to do such a downbeat role but such an interesting role, was really, really fascinating. I thought that the humour was very, very deadpan. I thought this is a very funny film. But if you don't like deadpan comedy, which is very... appropriate to Scandinavia, you're not going to like it. And what I mean by deadpan is the stuff of Bent Hammer. Now, Bent Hammer is a fantastic Norwegian director who specialises in deadpan, in whereas you don't see slapstick. It's not forced. It's not trying to make you laugh. It's just making you laugh because of the natural way it's coming across. So it's the dialogue. It's the way someone reacts to something in a serious way that makes it really, really funny. So there are a few scenes in there that had me laughing, but there are a few scenes in that really made me feel depressed. But the strange thing about it was that it wasn't only a depressing film, it was also an incredibly beautiful film. The soundtrack from Benny Andersson, who was from ABBA, no relation to the director, but he actually made the soundtrack, so there's no surprise that someone of those credentials made a soundtrack that was absolutely fitting and beautiful. I'll leave a link in the description below for the soundtrack. I thought it was incredible, and a good soundtrack will always magnify the impact and magnify the emotion that it wants. It will just intensify it to the point where you think to yourself, wow, I am seeing a film that is not made very often. I thought the ending was incredible. Once again, it's a symbolic ending. I thought it was scary, but at the same time absolutely beautiful. It's just a very sad film. You've got deep meanings. As I said, I think it is about the weight of the world, you know, the depression. The characters, they just can't catch a break. It's just one thing after another, and for me it struck home. It made me feel like I was in the film. It was me reliving my years past, and a lot of people might say, well, it's bringing back depressing feelings. That's not a good thing, but yes, it is a good thing, because it makes you think about your own life. It makes you think about having the strength to conquer your demons, as these characters are trying to do, trying to get the strength to get out of the predicament they're in, but they just can't, because it always keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and that's exactly how life is. So it's a sign that this filmmaker has gone through depression himself. He really understands what it's like to be misunderstood, what it's like to be vulnerable, what it's like to feel that the outside world is very cruel, and the little bubble that you're contained in, that you're trapped in, and you feel that no matter how much you struggle, it's always going to be there. And that to me was haunting. It was absolutely brilliant. It was beautiful. The soundtrack was absolutely unforgettable. The acting was great. The comedy was there. It was very funny, and it's just an absolutely thought-provoking film that is going to require repeat viewings. For me, this is the best film I have seen in a very, very long time, if not the best film I've ever seen. No other film has hit me emotionally the way that this movie has, and for that, as I said, I cannot say enough good things about this movie. I was dreading about reviewing this film because I didn't know what to say and how to basically get my thoughts across without spoiling the film. Hopefully I've done a good enough job. It's just one of those movies that, as I said, it comes once in a lifetime, and you're just absolutely struck down by emotion that you don't know how you're going to get your thoughts across in a review. So hopefully I've done a good enough job. This movie is a masterpiece. I mean, if you like Birdman, you're going to like Songs from the Second Floor, or I hope you like Songs from the Second Floor. If you've gone through hardships in your life, this movie will really strike a note for you. It will really feel like you're one of these characters, and you can really sympathise for each and every one of these characters going through these awful things, and you want them to get out of this mess, because so many people get inside these little bubbles of depression and they don't come out of it. And that is the truest tragedy, and that's why I felt the movie had so much emotion for me, because I've been there, and I wanted these characters to get out of their predicament so much. But then he intertwines it with humour and beauty, and it just makes it for an incredible experience, an experience that I'm recommending to everyone out there who loves cinema. So overall, for Songs from the Second Floor, there is no surprise that I'm going to give this film 5 stars. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.